LeBron James
I can't.
had a great dunk here around Donovan Mitchell. Then Tatum followed up with another great dunk. But he hurt his finger and didn't finish the game and lost.
It's the first time losing as a captain.
5-1.
Yeah, 5-1. So not enough to make the medal stand.
All right, so bronze medal from All-Star Weekend, Mac McClung. Outstanding All-Star dunk contest by him. The best slam dunk competition showing ever by someone who looks like they're 12 years old. Silver medal. Wilds guy, Donovan Mitchell. I don't know if he's still Wilds guy, but he could have been Wilds guy, but then he signed with the Cavs, and now Wilds still supports him, but he's kind of sad about it. 40-10 for Donovan, and then a gold medal. Everyone's like, Jason Tatum's 55 wasn't that impressive. Guys, the record he broke was Anthony Davis's 52, which was the saddest 52 I've ever seen, if you remember it. It was in New Orleans, where clearly going into the game, we're like, you're going to get the record. And it was, I think, 24 uncontested two-handed dunks and then a couple little pull-ups. So I'm glad Tatum got it. And it's also nice for Tatum, a Kobe guy, and to get the Kobe Bryant trophy. I thought that was cool. There's the medal stand from All-Star Weekend.
Okay. Shaq said Mac McClung saved the dunk contest. He had 3 50s, didn't miss a dunk. I think that helped a lot. Brew, do you agree?
Well, last year's dunk contest was so bad that you were starting to hear people talk about, they should just get rid of the dunk contest. I don't know that they would have done it. Remember, they did that decades ago.
No, I don't.
They stopped it. They did end the dunk contest for a few years and then brought it back, and it wasn't a good idea to end it. So I don't think they would have stopped doing it. But Mac McClung was fantastic, and this is what I want to see next year. I'm putting it out there now. I know he said he wouldn't be in it, but Ja, it's hard to be the most electrifying player in the league if you won't get in the dunk contest and you're a dunker. So I want to see Mac McClung, Ja Morant, Zion Williamson. Zion said he might get in it. And Zach LaVine. Zach's still only 20. He'll be 28 next month. He's will only be 28 years old at that point. So I want to see Zach get in there with those guys.
A few things. One, I was surprised how many people didn't know who Mac McClung was.
Yeah, because it feels like for those of us that live on the internet, we've been seeing Mac McClung highlights for as long as we've been seeing Zion highlights. Because he and Zion were the same class, and they were both unbelievable in high school.
Russian Hoops mixtape to Georgetown to Texas Tech, I believe. To the G League, to the dunk contest. So I've known Mac McClung for like 10 years, it feels like. I also want to give a shout out to Victor Oladipo.
Oh.
Because Victor Oladipo did a very similar dunk a few years ago, and I felt like it resuscitated it. And I mentioned this earlier in the show. Now, Max was a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
So what I liked about this was we don't always need 100% brand new dunks. You can just do it a little bit better or throw a little bit more pizzazz on it, and it looks like a different dunk. But shout out to Victor Oladipo for hitting this one.
Brew has said this for a while. The best dunkers might not be in the NBA.
Well, that's 100%.
They're not.
And so I don't understand why they wouldn't consider 3 non-NBA dunkers on one side of the court, 3 NBA dunkers on the other side of the court. The winner of each of those competitions plays each other with $1 million cash sitting at center court, and they get it.
You don't want to embarrass your NBA players. Because if they're losing,
can I ask you a question? Would anyone be embarrassed if they lost to Mac McClung? He's not really an NBA player.
Yeah, I mean, they would. But he's close. He was close.
The thing is they wouldn't be. They'd be losing to guys. If there was a one-on-one game, it would be embarrassing. The guy's a professional dunker and is doing insane things.
They would.
I'd rather just
the NBA.
Right. I'd rather just have non-NBA.
Well, that would be
dunkers.
cool.
Just have non-NBA dunkers, but don't have them compete against the NBA players.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't embarrass them. Coming up next, Speak. We'll see you tomorrow for an excellent Russell Westbrook back in Los Angeles. This time he's going to be wearing a Clippers uniform. Reunites with Paul George, who he played with in OKC. Let's take a look at their numbers. They both had 24 points. They both had a field goal percentage around 43%.
Okay.
Full screen's right there for you. Take a gander at. Broussard. I'm going to start with Nick. See, Nick goes through. Let's start here. Let's start there, and I get it messed up. It said Brew.
If looks could kill,
it just is so easy.
It said Brew. I wrote Brew, and you tried to make it call an audible. Go ahead.
All right.
Let's hear the take.
Okay.
Better be good.
So, the idea of signing Russell Westbrook is you have championship or bust aspirations. You have two stars in this league who could be arguably one of, if not the best duo. However, they both have injury and load management issues. So the days they're not playing, he can, create the energy.
Yep.
Also, an extra punch to potentially they're off the bench or when one of those guys isn't in there. Mm-hmm. Plus, he's back at home where he wants to be.
Sure.
And this is exactly what the Lakers just tried, and it was a total disaster. So, Brew, we're in a weird spot with Russell Westbrook, where whenever he gets criticized, people are like, he's an amazing father, husband, and tipper. It's like, me too, but I would be a disaster for the Clippers at point guard. Russ, I had him on my 50 best players the last 50 years. I had him 35th. Head of Gary Payton, head of Steve Nash, head of Clyde Drexler. I think he is currently been unfairly maligned, like retroactively, acting like he was never a quality player, like he never aided winning when he did. However, right now, this moment, there is no version of Russell Westbrook that helps you win a championship. And this is a baffling, unforced error by the Clippers, who up until 24 hours ago, I would have said, this Clippers team, given the uncertainty of the West, was the best positioned they had been to make a real championship run since Kawhi started the New Balance ads and the new King of LA. And now we know this won't work, and I don't know why they did it.
I beg to differ.
Oh.
Wow.
I like it.
You like
I
it?
like it a lot.
Where's
yes, absolutely.
Someone call Antoine.
Absolutely. Get Twan. Twan, I know Twan loves
Yes.
it. No, this is good.
Why?
I assume, now maybe I'm wrong, I think they're going to bring him off the bench. I think they sat down over these past few days and talked roles.
Well,
okay, I think that's what convinced them that he would accept the role they wanted and he's going to play it. And look, we all knew from the moment the rumors started that he would go, that LeBron wanted him in LA. We were like, that can't be true. That's ridiculous. Why? Because LeBron is ball dominant. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard aren't ball dominant. And furthermore, I think, Nick, he's coming off the bench. Now, I know Terrence Mann isn't a true point guard, but they've been playing without a true point guard.
I don't think he's coming off the bench.
Well, we'll see. I think the best thing to do is have him come off the bench. Okay. They won 10 of their last 14 with Terrence Mann running the point in kind of a point guardless operation. Okay? They moved up to the 4th seed. I think Russ coming off the bench is great because he brings energy, he brings toughness, he brings grit, just like Kawhi. And I think that they're dangerous now because of him. Here's the other thing. They spread the floor, and everybody just about is shooting 38% or better from three. Kawhi and Paul George and Marcus Morris, 38%. Terrence Mann is like 39%. They've got the shooting to put around him.
So did the Rockets.
The key I don't.
And it was a disaster.
First of all, they did all right. They went about as far as they could go. They lost to the Lakers, who won the championship that year. And Russ actually played well, particularly in the second half of that season. I think Russ has been unfairly maligned with the Lakers. I like this move, Wilds. I think after Phoenix, now Phoenix is clearly the class of the West, or they should be. I think the Clippers have as good a chance as anyone else of coming out of there.
Okay, so Woj's report says that they agreed to join the Clippers if he had a willingness to fit into a clear and specific role built around playmaking, win some, lose some there, rebounding, and toughness. So I don't think he's going to start.
Well,
I also don't think he's going to play make.
The Clippers reporter for The Athletic said that the first few games he will come off the bench with the expectations that he will eventually be their starting point guard. So if he starts, here's what I don't want.
He can't start.
Here's what I don't want. Him finishing. I'm more worried about him finishing than starting. Because if he's finishing, you don't want the ball in his hands because he's a poor decision maker. And if he's not with the ball in his hands, he can't shoot. They're not guarding him. So don't finish. He can start all he wants.
None of us think that he's going to be part of your most important unit. None of us think he's going to put you over the top. Why is it worth the risk when it absolutely could disrupt things? When maybe it wasn't.
If it disrupts things,
there's 20 games left.
No, but if he comes in there and he's a mess, Get rid of him. Bye.
Okay.
You're not paying him
I
any
don't think
money.
he's a bad guy at all. I think he is a broken offensive player in today's NBA, and he's on his 5th team in 5 years, and they're relying on him in the playoffs, and even in his heyday,
did well in Washington.
he was a historically inefficient postseason
And he did well in Houston.
Not in the playoffs, he didn't.
No, but he
neither
did what
spot
he
in the
does.
playoffs, but that's what they're bringing him in
But those
for.
are his teams. He'll be fine. Russ.
Okay.
I believe him.
I mean, believing in everybody.
It's early, but